we want to look at what Yashua said and not what other people said, right? We want to open the book and look at what Yeshua said and not somebody else's interpretation or how they see it, but we just want to look at it and take it for the value that is presented to us in this book. And I think that's important because I've been to Bible college, as you know, and I remember a lot of things that they tried to explain to us, but it just wasn't here. But, you know, you got to be aware of another man's revelation. And that's why it's important to know what Yeshua said and not try to take anything away from it or add anything to it, but we need to be aware of what was said. I want to start at Proverbs chapter 11, verse 1, and we'll continue from there. Let's read that. It's one verse. What does that say? A false balance is a what? But a just weight is his delight. A false balance is abomination. It is something that angers the Most High. It is something that the Most High hates. Anything that's not properly balanced. And you know, just from living, if something is not balanced, that needs to be balanced, then it's not going to be able to do what it was intended to do. There's got to be balance. You may be seated. So we want to look at that, and we got another scripture we'll be looking at as we move on here. But I want you to understand the importance of having things balanced in your life, in your family, wherever you are. There has to be balance. It cannot be lopsided. There's give and take. This is one of the reasons why when there's a lot of pain in your life, that pain that's in your life cannot continue because it's out of balance. So you just can't have pain forever till you leave here. But because of universal balancement, pleasure has to come because it's not balanced. Are you understanding that? So anytime your life is not going quite the way you would like it to be, all you have to do is continue to do what's correct. And what you do that's correct will bring balance to those things that need to be balanced in your life. And this should give us a lot of hope because this is universal principles and laws. And so always know that it's going to balance out at some point. But the condition is that you're doing the things that are correct to do. So we want to make sure we understand and understand that. So the Most High Heavenly One has a system for the universe to operate from called Ma'at. The divine, and Ma'at is the divine universal law of balancement and natural order. It's the divine universal law of balancement and natural order, which governs all existence and creation. So we need to know that there is something that's been set in place by the Most High to keep things balanced. And if you look at the world today, you can see that it's really out of balance. And at some point, it will come back into alignment and balancement. But right now, it's out of order. It's out of order, and of course, men, oppressors, do not really care that it's out of order, as long as they are having their way now. I said now because it won't continue, because there's got to be a balance. So at some point we will see balance and we will see order because the world is out of order. So something out of order or out of balance won't be able to function properly, as we stated earlier. And so in order for things to function properly, in order for things to fulfill purpose and do what the intended purpose was, it has to be balanced according to the law of balancement and natural order. The problem with humanity is that most want to stop short of becoming the image and likeness of their God, of their gods, well, whoever their gods are. They want to stop short of becoming that God or those gods and just want to worship them because it eliminates responsibility to change. If I'm worshiping, then I don't have to really focus on changing. And so it eliminates the responsibility for change and places the change in the hands of another who they can blame when things go wrong. You see the lack of responsibility there and just wanting to praise and worship, because it removes you completely away from becoming the image and likeness of the one that you worship. And so they don't want people that don't want change and just want to continue to worship. They don't want to follow the examples set before them and take the best of what was done and improve upon it so that the life of the relative, the ancestor, the divinity can continue to live through them. See, this is what living is all about, is to allow that has gone before us to continue to work through us, that those that are still living can receive the benefit of the work of the one that's no longer here. Not only are we representatives of the Most High, but we are representatives of all that which is good that was in our relatives, in master teachers, and whatever, and in Yashua, all that was good. We ought to take those good attributes and we ought to live them out. They should live through us. And this is why we have to know that this is bigger than just us. It is bigger than whatever's going on with you, because there's a responsibility for us, for them that have gone before us, to continue walking in great legacy, walking in great truth, walking in all the sacrifices that others have made for us to be here today. We have a responsibility for that. And we need to adhere to our responsibility. And I saw something on Facebook, I think it was, and it had Malcolm and it had a few of our ancestors that have gone before us. And the caption was, you know, we did all that we did for you, and you still killing each other. We did all this stuff for you, and in other words, you're not living up to what we brought to you, to what we established and what we were establishing, and what they're looking for is you to pick up where they left off. This is the same thing that Yeshua is looking for. Pick up where I left off. Live out the life that I was living, because it is passed on to you. It is now your responsibility to carry on and to keep, not just to keep what I was doing going, but to be able to take it to another level. And so you make the relative or the deity greater when you do more than praise and worship them, but actually become them. Start where they were at, build from where they left, and continue to do great things. Go to John chapter 14, 12. John chapter 14 and 12. Is it there? Huh? All right, what does it read? Verily, verily, I say what? Unto you. What does he say? The works that I do, he shall do also. All right, we're talking about humanity, right? Somebody wanted to make this a male book, but we know that the Creator is feminine and masculine. Remember that. So, the works that he or she do, what it says? All right, because he's going where? Going to the Father. Who is the Father? The Father is the source of all things. And so I finished my work here, and I'm getting ready to go back to where I started. I'm going back to the source that put me here for the purpose for which I was here. Keep going. And greater what? Greater works than these shall he do, because I do what? All right. He that believeth on me, the works, everybody say works. The works that I do shall he do also. He could have stopped there, right? That would have been pretty powerful. Then Yeshua took it to a whole nother level. He said, and greater works. So I don't want you to do what I did. I want you to exceed abundantly above what I did. And so the works, and these shall he do, because I go to my Father. Greater works than these shall he do. And if you start looking at the works of Yeshua, then you have to ask yourself a very important question to you. What am I doing greater than Yeshua did when he was here? What am I doing that's greater? And I'm going to show you a little bit about what this greater is all about. So, by worshiping Yeshua or Jesus, you neglect to build upon his work and become. Because we come to service, not talking about this ministry, but most people go to services to worship. And there is nothing wrong with worship. But we just got to get the worship correct. We worship who? The Father. We worship the Most High, and we follow who? We follow Yeshua. We follow Jesus. However you want to say that. Some people ain't ready to let go of Jesus, so we ain't fussing about that. But we follow Yeshua, and we worship the Father. And so when you are in worship with your source and understand and overstand that I am to worship my source, then I know that if I'm worshiping the source, I'm worshiping the same source that Yeshua came from. We are in worship to the same source. And by worshiping the same source, this is why Yeshua said, follow me. Worship the source of everything and follow after me. Follow after me. Follow my way. He said, I am the way, the example. I am the truth. I'm the word. I am the life. Follow my lifestyle. And this is what we have been called to do. But it's very difficult to follow a lifestyle and the principles of that lifestyle if I don't read and understand what I am to follow. This is why we can be in the church living any kind of way, because we're not understanding the responsibility of following the principles of Yeshua and not what somebody else said. And so we follow Yeshua to become Yeshua and to do even greater works than Yeshua did. He said it, that we were to do greater works, not the works that he did. But he said, look at this, I just want to read it again. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do, he shall do also. So again, believe sets the foundation. Believe in faith in what Yeshua did sets the foundation for us to do as he did. But then he took it to another level. He said, I don't want you to stop there. I want you to do greater than I did. How many times in your church experience have you maybe heard the statement that, we really can't become like Jesus. We really can't live like Jesus lived. We just have to try to do the best we can, but we can never achieve the things that Yeshua or Jesus achieved. You may have heard that. You may, because people will make comments like that because it's an excuse not to change. It's an excuse not to do what's necessary to change their lives. And so they say, well, that was Jesus. That was Yeshua. I can't live like that. How you expect me to live like that? But you can live like that. And that's the reason why we got that whole message and doctrine, because they wanted us to believe that we could not live and do the works that Yeshua did or do even greater. It was intentional for us to believe we couldn't live that way. That way, we won't strive to do anything more than what we are doing, and we always leave a loophole for an excuse as to why I can't live that way, why I can't keep my mouth together, why I got to always be cussing at folk, and why I got to always be treating people bad. When I'm only human. No, you're not. You are having a human experience, but you are spirit, and you are consciousness, and you are divinity, and you can live the way Yeshua lived. And first thing you got to do is stop saying that you can't. You have to stop talking like that, because others wanted you to believe that you couldn't. That's why we have in our minds, we think that Yeshua was 99% God and 1% human. See, and with that kind of thinking, you said, man, I can never be like that. And so we look at ourselves as being 99% human and 1% divine or divinity. When Yeshua is the elder brother to all of us brothers and sisters in this house. He was our elder brother. He said, let me show you the way. First I got to come here and establish some stuff, because I got to get some people together, because we got to go find y'all that was scattered. Some of y'all was scattered after there was an invasion into your homeland, into your country. And so this is why the command went out. Go into all the world and find the lost sheep. And that's why when the Samaritan woman that wasn't connected to the people of the Most High, when she wanted her daughter to be healed, he said, I didn't come here for you. He said, I came here only for the lost sheep. That's in Matthew chapter 15. I came only for the lost sheep of the tribe of Israel. Didn't come here for you, but because of your faith. I haven't even seen this kind of faith among the people I came for. So because of your faith, go ahead on going your way. Your daughter is healed. But you got to hear what the message is. I didn't come for you. I came for a certain group. I came for those that were lost. I came for those that were scattered. I came for those that needed to run for their life. I came to gather them up, to make disciples out of them, so they can go into all the world and continue to search for those that are lost, because I came to seek and save that which was lost. And the ones that I came to seek and save that was lost happened to be my folk, happened to be the ones that had to run from Northern Africa to save their lives. Students of great people don't settle for worshiping them, but improving upon their work to personify the best which the person had to offer, so that they will live on through and influence the lives of the living. This is why for people are continuing the work of Einstein, his students. When Einstein died, they decided, we're not going to worship and praise Einstein. We're gonna praise him for his work, but we're going to do one better. We're going to do greater. we're going to build upon where he left off at and take it to another level. This is the same thing that Dr. Henry Clark, this is the same thing that Dr. Ben, this is the same thing that Malcolm X, this is the same thing that Martin Luther King Jr. This is the same thing that they expect us to do. Take where I left off at and take this thing to a whole nother level. I didn't get a chance to see it in my day, but you can see it in your day, and your children can see it in their day if you take what I've done and build upon it and take it to another level. So because you want to personify, you want to personify that elder, that master teacher. You want to personify. You want people to see you, but see them in you. That's what you want to see. I think some people refer to Jamal as the young Malcolm. Why? Because they can see some traits of Malcolm there. Are y'all hearing me? See, and this is what people do with great teachers and masters that's going on before them. We're not going to praise and worship them. What we're going to do, we're going to take what they left and we're going to build from that. We're going to take what they left and we're going to take it to another level so their lives can continue to live through me, through us. I hope y'all getting this. So once again, students of great people don't settle for worshiping them, but improving upon their work to personify the best which the person had to offer so they would be able to live through us and have influence on the lives of the living. So I want you to walk out of here today feeling a greater sense of responsibility to those that have gone on before us, great people that perhaps you admired. You need to study those people. You need to see where you can take that work to another level for somebody that you admire, somebody that you really had great respect for. You make the person greater when you build upon their work and build greater works from their works. You actually make them greater. Now, what are you saying? We were to follow the works of Yashua as well. Why? Because he says when you follow and do what I did, when you do the works that I did, you can do greater. What do you mean, Yashua? I want you to build from where I left off, and I want you to take my life and the principles governing righteousness, governing holiness, governing all the things that I represented, take it to a whole nother level that people will be able to live and see me in you as you live your life through me and with me. This is the greater work. You will do greater than I did. How? Take it up, take up your cross, take it up, deny yourself, take it up, follow me, take it up and follow me. And as you take that up and follow me, people will begin to recognize me in you, and you will make me greater than I was when I was on the earth, because you are taking my work to a whole nother level. Greater works. And greater works mean it's something that I have to want. I have to desire that character. This is something you have to want to do. And this is why we're not gathering on Sunday and in Bible studies. We just don't gather to be gathering, but we need to understand the importance of gathering for the purpose of taking what Yashua did to a whole nother place, a whole nother level. So people, you'll be completely out of the way. This is why we can't be a people that are selfish and we want people to see me, look at me. It ain't about you. It's about a greater message that we build upon from the one that left it for us. It's the same message that we need to build build up on from Yashua. Same message that we need to build up on from our ancestors that's going on before us. Our ancestors that did great work in so many different fields. Now they're crying out to us and say, I need you to take what I did to another place. Why don't you want to make me greater than I was on the planet? Why do we shut down the work that was going forth after the person is gone? We need successors, people to build and people to influence those that are still living, people that are not afraid to speak truth to power, people that are not afraid to stand up and say, this is the way, walk in this way, this is the way, this is how we're going to do it, this is how we're going to make it happen. We need people with the boldness to stand up and let people know what they're about, who they're about, where they came from, who they're following, who is their master teachers. We need to stand up and not be ashamed of who we are and where we come from and what is expected of every one of us. There's an expectation. We can't let those people go now. I'm talking about Yashua. I'm talking about our ancestors. We can't just let them okay, they're gone now. Now what are we going to do? This is why a work fails when the person that was over the work have no successors. Have no successors. But we've been taught to be ashamed, be fearful over those that have gone on before us. You should have books that your ancestors wrote. And you need to see where they were going and take it from there. You need books, study. You need to be able to see where Yashua was going. You need your Bible, but you need something else that's going to give you greater explanation that hasn't been tampered with so you can know which way to go. We got to build. This is part of your building block. You can put your King James or whatever your version is under this one. All right. But, of course, the reason why we need to know both of them, because we have brothers and sisters that don't know the importance of taking that which was given to us and taking it to another level. And so all of these things that pertain to us are so vitally important because of the ignorance that we have walked in for so long. But I wanted to bring a word to you today and do my best to encourage you to know that we've got to build from what was left. We got to build from what others left us. You don't when you leave here, if you're honest with yourself, when you leave here, you want to leave some kind of legacy. Am I right? Say you just don't want to be known for nothing. That's what the scripture said about Methuselah. He lived 900 and how many years? 969 years, and he died. One verse in the Bible. Methuselah lived 969 years and he died. Nothing else. We don't want that. But you want your grandchildren to light up when they see your picture after you leave here. Am I right? You want them to look, you want them to look at things that you did and that things that you contributed to not only their lives, but the lives of the generation that's coming up with them. You want to leave some contribution. And sometimes you may not be able to leave the money you want to leave, but if you leave what needs to be put on the inside of them, then they'll have the ability to go make money if you put the right stuff in them. So maybe I can't accumulate all the millions that I would like to have to do greater works and to live a better life. Maybe I don't get to that point. But if I put what's inside of them, if I put the right thing inside of them, then they can have the ability to go make some money. So we have to leave a legacy. And Yashua said, greater works will you do, because I'm going back to the source. I'm going back to where the ancestors are. And what I left you, see, I was on a good road. And I got you the peaks that I was supposed to bring. But see, there are other peaks that we all have to bring. That's why I got to find out, what am I supposed to be doing, and what am I to contribute? So my family, and if I write any books, my books will go down and they'll say, this is what he was about. And this is where we should build. So I want you to remember, when you leave here, and I want you to be thinking about, what kind of legacy are you going to leave? What kind of contribution are you going to leave? Wouldn't it be nice to be in a calendar like this one day? Because of your great contribution to your people and to humanity? Because so many in this calendar contributed to humanity. You know? Ironing clothes and being able to stop at the stoplight where everybody don't just come to the intersection and run into each other. Are y'all hearing me? See, they left a legacy. Every time I go to the stoplight, you know, I'm reminded of one of our ancestors. You see? Every time I talk to a youngster that ever tell me they got, you know, math is hard, I quickly bring up the ancestor. William Banneker, am I saying it right? Benjamin Banneker. I bring him up and say, you got to realize where this stuff come from so we can speak from our legacy to help build up the generation coming after us and tell them, don't ever let me hear you say the word you can't. See, we got to build from that. And we've got examples that have gone before us to help us to know that there is nothing we cannot accomplish. And I'm going to leave you with this. Look at that time. Help. What was I saying? Huh? Leave us with something. I need some of y'all to leave some stuff here for my grandchildren. I have 5 of them. I need y'all to leave something here for them. I got 5, and I think I'm still counting. I got 1, and we have 1 on the way. And I still think after the baby girl is born, we still count. But we want to leave something. How many of you all remember Gullah Gullah Island? No, not Gilligan, Gullah Gullah. Joy pulled that up on her iPad because we are working on putting right pictures in Javon's mind. See, these are things you can do to get started right now. Putting things in his mind, pulling up. They got books concerning us, just loads of them you can pull up. And you can start reading them stories and showing them things that they can relate to. Because remember, images will paint a picture. See, images will start painting a picture, and those pictures will begin to create thoughts in the minds of these young people. So we got to start sitting stuff before them and teaching them. Me and my grandson was at the park the day after the fast. Oh, what a mistake. And the boy wore me out, and I was trying to figure out why I was so tired. I said, well, I haven't eaten all week. But he wore me out. But as he was riding his tricycle and we was walking back to the car, I said, say this, man, repeat after me. And I told him to start saying, I can be what I want to be. I can do what I want to do. I can have what I want to have. This is what we said all the way back to the car. And then when he got to the house, I told his mother, I'm teaching him something. And she said, Javon, what is Papa teaching you? I can be what I want to be. I can do what I want to do. I can have what I want to have. These are simple things that we need to start doing with our children so they can, he's only 3. What happens when he gets 13? And he walking around saying, I can be what I want to be. Somebody tell him, you know, you can't do this, you can't do that. He said, no, my papa taught me that I can be what I want to be. I can do what I want to do. I can have what I want to have. Are y'all understanding what I'm saying? This has to be instilled in our children as soon as they're able to comprehend and talk. That was just the first little lesson. But there's many, many more lessons to come because we have to leave something. If I can't leave something in the bank for them, I can leave something within them. So, you know, it wasn't a whole lot of money floating around here. We lived pretty good and we ate, but I got something in me that's going to take that financial thing to another level. See, we have to start thinking, you know, and stop letting our children just play all the time and just, you know. Did I ever finish? I think I told you, yeah, the Gullah Gullah Island was get it on the, pull it up. You know, if they want to watch something, some cartoons or something, pull that up. Not Big Bird. Yeah, not Barney and all that crazy stuff. But get them interested in animals and looking at Discovery channels. And, you know, we have to raise, this next generation's got to be intelligent. And they don't need to be floating in the fantasy. We don't want them in the fantasy world. We don't want them dealing with mythologies. We want them dealing in reality and dealing with the truth. They are children, so yes, they're going to look at a cartoon here and there, but that don't need to consume their whole evening. We have work to do. We have foundations that have been laid that we must build upon. We have to build upon these foundations and take it to another level, starting with our spiritual roots and the principles that Yashua left here for us, so we would be able to do a greater work, the greater work. So when you leave, you need to be focused on what greater work do I need to build. Everybody has some type of hero or somebody in their life. And I ain't talking about Superman or Supergirl. I already told you how I feel about that. They can't have nothing real, so they got to always invent something. They couldn't have no real boxers. They don't have Ali's and Joe Frazier's, so they put Rocky on the screen. We just, because they live in mythologies and they live in fantasy worlds. So they just fantasize about their great hero. See, but you have the real deal. It's not a fantasy for you. It's real for you. And because of that realness, you know that you have something to build upon, and you can go out and accomplish great things. You can go out and beat whatever you need to beat because the foundation has been laid, and great people have gone before us. When the enslavers came to Africa, you also need to know and let young people know that they didn't just take anybody. They took people that knew agriculture, how to domesticate animals, how to build bridges and all the things that was going on there. The African was an African on Facebook that built a car out of scraps he found laying around. I'll keep saying it till we leave here. We don't know our greatness and what we can accomplish with nothing. Can you imagine finding scraps and building a car? Brother Jamal showed us the car industry. Is it in Ethiopia? Ghana. Cars. I mean, good-looking cars that we have an industry for there. Real important to know just who we are and what we are not just capable of doing, but what we are doing. So I want you to be thinking about, what could I be doing more to leave a legacy? Let me bring it closer to home. To leave a real good legacy for my mother that passed, for my father that passed, my grandparents. This is pretty much how I handle funerals. I speak to the people that are there and say, what did your mother or your father or your grandparent or your brother or your sister, whoever passed, what did they say to you that maybe you never got moving in it? You want to honor them? Honor them by carrying out what was given to you. That is the greatest way to honor those that have gone on before us. You already can see yourself in some of them. See them in you. Now let's honor Yashua by doing the greater work, building upon his work. Let's honor those relatives that left us with something that they really wanted to see you do and accomplish. Let's honor them by doing that. Is that all right? Come on, put those hands together.